is CBS 4 News This Morning.
Good morning, South Florida at 6 a.m. Tuesday, February 25th. I'm Maribel Rodriguez.
And I'm Carly Barnett. Change on the way.
Oh, yeah. It says it's going to get cold, and it is.
It is. We're not talking a cool front. We're talking a cold front, and we're going to feel it. Yeah, lows in the 40s. Caught on camera a scary incident inside of a Pompano Beach church. A man seemingly comes out of nowhere and attacks the deacon right in the middle of a service.
CBS 4's Real Crane is live at that church with more of the shocking video, and the man, police say, is behind the attack. Real, good morning.
Good morning, Mary Bell. It is a stunning video of an attack that happened inside of this Pompano Beach church behind me last Saturday night. I want you to take a look at the surveillance video that shows how this incident happened. This is at St. Coleman Catholic Church during, again, an evening service. There's a man sitting in one of the front pews. You can watch as seemingly out of nowhere he runs up and ambushes the deacon, tries to take him down, and then there is a struggle. You see the other parishioners in the church standing in alarm while others rush in to break it up to see if that deacon is okay. The police have arrested a man for the attack. They have identified him as Thomas Ezel. He is facing several charges, including battery, this morning. In a response to the video, the Archdiocese did release a statement to us saying, in part, this is an unfortunate incident that occurred during Mass, and we are blessed and thankful that no one was hurt, and the young man will receive the help that he needs. So far, there is no word on a possible motive for that attack. Live in Pompano Beach, Riel Creighton, CBS 4 This Morning.
Riel, thank you. This morning, you can call it bad luck, a cruel joke, Groundhog Day, whatever. Really, people in Fort Lauderdale just can't believe it. There's been another sewage main break, and this break, number 8 in the past few weeks.
Deja vu all over again. This morning, thousands are dealing with this, and some are even more desperate for relief. The break happened yesterday morning at George English Park near the Galleria Mall. Some workers tried to capture the sewage flowing into Bayview Drive, while others worked on a fix. Captain Jeff Maggio owns a fishing business. He says these repeated breaks and hundreds of millions of gallons of raw sewage spilling into the water is damaging the environment. In the meantime, the city says it's spending millions to fix it.
It's just poisoning the whole ecosystem. Complete devastation, and people don't get it.
We've got our work ahead of us, but we're committed to that, and with the sense of urgency that we're responding, I hope shows to folks that we're serious.
City leaders say they will replace the broken pipe. They hope to have a temporary fix done by today or tomorrow.
Happening today, Democrats debate in South Carolina, and the clock is ticking on the time to make an impact in the race for the Democratic presidential nomination. Tonight, 7 candidates will take part in a crucial debate co-hosted by CBS News ahead of the South Carolina primary this Saturday.
CBS 4's Danya Backus is in Charleston with what we can expect.
Carly and Maribel, this is the last opportunity candidates will have to make a pitch on a national stage. CBS 4 This Morning.
CBS News is co-hosting tonight's debate. You can watch it live beginning at 8 p.m. here on CBS 4. And Senator Bernie Sanders is coming under fire for his comments about Fidel Castro. This morning, the Cuban community and South Florida lawmakers are responding. In an interview on 60 Minutes Sunday, Sanders praised what he says were positive aspects of Fidel Castro's regime, including a literary campaign. The response was quick and intense from many people here in South Florida, including local leaders.
Unless the Democratic establishment steals it from them, Bernie Sanders, a Democratic socialist, is going to be the Democratic nominee for president. And that's a really big deal because Democratic socialism sounds benign, but at the core of Democratic socialism is Marxism.
I do think that it may hurt the senator, and I would invite him to come down to South Florida and actually meet with some of these families so he understands the pain that those comments cause.
In a statement, the Sanders campaign says Senator Sanders has clearly and consistently criticized Fidel Castro's regime and his human rights abuses. They say Sanders is echoing President Obama's acknowledgement that Cuba has made progress.
In other news this morning, a 2-year-old is in the hospital after being pulled from a backyard pool. This happened at a home on Northwest 122nd Street in North Miami yesterday afternoon. Police say the girl's father and grandmother found her in the water after she went missing and were able to get her out quickly. There is no word on how she's doing. And a man accused of robbing a bank in Deerfield Beach has been caught. The man allegedly led deputies on a chase that ended in Pompano Beach near Powerline Road and 10th Street. A tow truck hauled away a damaged cruiser from that scene, but no one was hurt.
This morning, Broward Sheriff's deputies are searching for a driver who ran off after crashing his car into a Pompano Beach home. This happened yesterday morning on the 1700 block of Northwest 2nd Terrace. Witnesses tell CBS 4 the car was speeding before this crash. Look at that, right into the house. An infant and his caretaker were inside the home when this happened. Thankfully, neither were hurt. Neighbors tried holding the driver down until deputies could arrive, but the driver managed to get away. Fire crews have boarded up the home, but the building has been declared unsafe.
6:08 now, still ahead. Sickening charges are filed against a Hialeah mother.
What she's accused of doing to her baby girl that has her waking up in jail this morning. Plus, why the judge is calling her other child a hero. That's coming up at 6:30.
He was my sweet husband and the beautiful father of our children. He was mine. He was my everything.
First, a moving memorial service for Kobe Bryant and his daughter in Los Angeles. We'll take you inside the celebration of life next.
And we have some good news this morning. Find out where these adorable cheetah cubs are making history right after the break.
God knew they couldn't be on this earth without each other. He had to bring them home to heaven together.
Powerful words this morning from Vanessa Bryant, remembering her husband Kobe as a loving father and her daughter Gigi as one of her very best friends.
Yeah, it really was heartbreaking to see that. A celebration of life was held in Los Angeles for them and the 7 others who died last month in a helicopter crash.
Kobe Bryant's widow Vanessa spoke publicly for the first time since the loss of her husband and daughter Gigi.
God knew they couldn't be on this earth without each other. He had to bring them home to heaven together.
She tearfully described how much she'll miss watching her daughter grow.
And just hours before the tribute started, Bryant's widow actually sued the helicopter company, claiming the pilot, who was also killed in that crash, was negligent and careless.
In other news this morning, stock futures are up, but the worldwide impact of the coronavirus outbreak is taking a huge financial toll. Growing fears of a global pandemic wiped out all of this year's stock market gains in just a couple of hours yesterday. The number of cases in the U.S. is now at least 53 people, as dozens of sick passengers returned from a cruise ship into Japan over the weekend. In Italy, police have blocked roads, isolating 2 areas where there are at least 200 cases. This is now the biggest outbreak in Europe. And the Dow closed yesterday down more than 1,000 points. The Nasdaq lost 355 points. The S&P 500 lost 111.
In news across America, former Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein has been admitted to a hospital for chest pain. This comes just hours after he was convicted of rape and sexual assault. The 67-year-old was accused of raping an actress in a hotel room in March of 2013 and forcibly performing a sex act on another woman in 2006. He could face up to 29 years in prison and would be taken to jail to await his sentencing once he is out of the hospital. And Jussie Smollett has pleaded not guilty to new felony charges in Chicago. The actor is charged with lying to Chicago police about being the victim of a racist and homophobic attack last year. His attorneys are appealing to the Illinois Supreme Court, trying to throw out his indictment because of concerns over how the prosecutor was appointed.
A trial is now set for the grandfather accused of dropping his granddaughter to her death from a cruise ship. Salvatore Anello was in court in Puerto Rico yesterday, where he waived his right to a trial by jury. So that means a judge will decide whether he's guilty of negligent homicide. Prosecutors say he negligently exposed his 18-month-old granddaughter, Chloe, through a window on a cruise ship last July before she fell to her death. The trial starts in April.
A 92-year-old World War II veteran from New Jersey has his service medals. It only took 70 years, and it's all because of a question from his grandson.
So he said, "Papa, what did you do in the war?" I said, "I'll get my medals and I'll show you." Well, I would tell you my days in the Navy were some of the best days of my life.
Thomas Simpson enlisted at just 17 years old. Well, on Monday, local leaders came to his assisted living facility to give him the 5 medals he earned more than 72 years ago. During the ceremony, he was surrounded by his family and even met another vet who was in the same boot camp class. We, of course, thank him for his service. Demolition crews are taking another stab at the so-called Leaning Tower of Dallas. The 11-story office building failed to come down after an attempted implosion last Sunday. Crews are now back at work trying to finish the job. This time, workers are using a crane and a small wrecking ball to bring the building down. Demolition is expected to take quite some time. And here's a little something to fill your cute quota of the day.
Well, take a look at these cheetah cubs. This little guy and gal were born last week at the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium in Ohio. And they have a pretty cool story. They are the first cheetah cubs to be born through in vitro fertilization. This was the third time scientists ever tried the procedure. And clearly, look at that, third time is the charm.
Oh, so sweet. Mom's
I know, they look so
them.
Cute and innocent, right?
Right.
And they grow up really big.
6:20 now, and flip phone no more. Up next, you may not believe who finally went for an upgrade.
And the force is strong this morning. A new Star Wars storyline is coming. We have your first look. It's trending this morning, and it's up next.
Just about 6:25 now, and here are the hot topics trending this morning on social media. So we've seen Star Wars on the silver screen, on our streaming services, and now is being put in print.
Later this year, you can look out for a new era of Star Wars storytelling. This is in the form of novels and comics. Star Wars: The High Republic was previously known as Project Luminous. It's set about 200 years before the events of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. Are you following? This period on the Star Wars timeline will not actually overlap any of the films or series currently planned for production, giving creators plenty of room to tell Star Wars stories with new adventures and some new characters. Creators refer to this as an incredible sandbox that their storytellers get to play in, and they're excited to see what comes from it.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of excited fans.
Yeah.
Well, get this. A billionaire has finally traded his flip phone for an iPhone. We're talking about Warren Buffett.
2020.
Yeah. Warren Buffett, one of Apple's largest shareholders, finally owns one of the company's most popular products. Good going, Warren. Well, although he's been given several iPhones over the years, including from Apple CEO Tim Cook, he really hasn't used any of them as his personal phone until now. Buffett's new iPhone is not his first Apple gadget. He previously said he uses an iPad to check stocks. He even sent his first tweet from an iPad back in 2013. He teased that he might crush his old phone at Berkshire Hathaway's upcoming annual meeting in May.
Here you go. Hey, better late than never.
Right? All right, there's always great videos and stories to see online. Check out more of what's trending on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and cbsmiami.com/webextra.
Straight ahead at 6:30, if you take the Palmetto to work, listen up. Big changes are coming. We tell you what is being planned to cut the congestion.
And later, ransomware attacks are happening more and more. How it could impact your life, and a CBS 4 News security alert.
This is CBS 4 News This Morning.
Right now at 6:30, a mother arrested and charged with attempted murder. Police say the victim was her own baby. Why the judge is calling her other child a hero.
Church attack man is waking up in jail after he's caught on camera ambushing a deacon during a service.
We have a live look outside on this Tuesday morning. Look at that, a cool down is coming. And Lisette is here with details on when we can expect the dip in degrees, and it is a big dip.
Drum roll, please.
We're talking lows in the 40s by Friday morning, so we're going to be saying brr. Yes, that is seriously cold for South Florida standards. But in the meantime, we're in the 70s, 60s this morning, highs in the low to mid 80s. So yeah, beautiful view there of downtown Miami, and we're seeing just a few clouds.
Also this morning, a Hialeah mother is behind bars accused of a disturbing crime. Police say she tried to strangle her baby girl and attacked another child. CBS 4's Ty Russell reports from the jail in West Miami-Dade.
This Hialeah mom in a vest, usually for inmates on suicide watch, cried during her first appearance Monday. CBS 4 This Morning.
Now, investigators say those two girls will survive, but they are still recovering in the hospital this morning. Another child was home at the time of the incident, but wasn't hurt.
Now at 6:34, North Miami police are investigating a close call after a car nearly crashes right into a store. Chopper 4 was over the scene at a shopping plaza near Northwest 131st Street and Northwest 7th Avenue. The car just barely missed crashing into the store, but there was some damage to a window. Luckily, nobody was hurt.
Pembroke Pines police are hoping you can help them find this man who stole a dump truck. Take a look at your screen. Surveillance video captures a man in a khaki bucket hat stealing a commercial dump truck. This happened in the area of Johnson Street in Pembroke Pines earlier in the month. Miami-Dade police found the truck the next day. If you recognize the man, you should call Broward Crime Stoppers at 954-493-TIPS. And police are searching for clues after a woman was shot and wounded in a drive-by in Miami Gardens. It happened Sunday night near Northwest 29th Court and 153rd Terrace. Investigators say someone opened fire on the woman who was standing outside of a home before just driving off. That woman had to be rushed to Jackson Memorial Hospital. She is expected to make a full recovery.
The city of Miami has a new man in charge of its day-to-day operations. City commissioner signing off to name Art Noriega, the city's CEO of the Parking Authority, as the new city manager. While the vote was unanimous, Commissioner Joe Carollo grilled Noriega for most of the meeting. Noriega will oversee all city departments and a $1.7 billion budget. He will also be the main negotiator for all talks with David Beckham and his partners concerning the building of a Major League Soccer stadium.
I'm fully up to speed on the stadium deal. That's a deal that I've been actively involved in. We are finally getting some pace to it.
Noriega replaces Emilio Gonzalez, who resigned last month after 2 years on the job, saying he wanted to spend more time with his family. Gonzalez also resigned after the city's first meeting this year dissolved into chaos.
And speaking of local government, Miami Beach Mayor Dan Gelber spoke about his city's future in the annual State of the City address. He announced plans aimed at easing traffic congestion, improving school safety, and overall creating a safer city.
We're trying to elevate this area. We're trying to create a sense that of place. It's getting a little bit too sometimes out of control, a little bit like Bourbon Street. Some weekends really are not the kind of place we want it to be. So we've got to change structurally. We have money for it. We've approved it, and I think we need to start steps to doing it.
He added that he hopes each of these improvements will give residents and tourists in Miami Beach a sense of place.
Now to the Trump presidency. Overnight, President Trump and the Prime Minister of India held a press conference saying the two countries are making progress when it comes to energy and military cooperation.
Our teams have made tremendous progress on a comprehensive trade agreement, and I'm optimistic we can reach a deal that will be of great importance to both countries.
The president announced India will purchase $3 billion worth of U.S.-made military planes and helicopters, but aides say protectionist measures in India have gotten in the way of a broader trade deal. The president's two-day visit is set to wrap up with a state banquet tonight. Meantime, the Trump administration's rule that makes it harder for low-income immigrants to enter the U.S. is now in effect. Under the public charge policy, immigrants with green cards and certain visas will be subjected to a wealth test, which gives more power to immigration officials to deny those applications. Critics say the move is meant to push away low-income and working-class immigrants.
We know that when you make small changes to these kinds of programs, it can have a big impact on people accessing those services.
The rule will not consider the benefits received by U.S. service members and their spouses and children.
Time now 6:38. Also happening today, get your beads and your king cake ready.
Yeah, it's Fat Tuesday. Some cities are getting ready for one last hurrah, and the party is not stopping. We'll take a look at the massive celebration taking place in New Orleans coming up.
Plus, strangers to the rescue. This morning, we hear from the people who pulled a woman from a South Florida canal, saving her life.
That's a look at traffic. Ladies, back to you.
Chris, thank you. And now to a CBS 4 traffic alert. Travel along one of South Florida's busiest highways may actually be getting a little bit easier. Yes, you heard that correctly. Governor Ron DeSantis announced plans to ease congestion along the Palmetto Expressway, also known as the 826. Some of these planned changes include adding an additional general purpose southbound lane, reducing the northbound express lanes from 2 to 1, and creating an access point into the express lanes at Northwest 122nd Street. Officials say a timeline for the project and its completion will be released shortly.
Coming up tonight at 11, some call it the fastest sport on earth. Highlight has been a South Florida staple for decades. Its heyday was back in the 1970s and 80s.
Back in the day, people smoked inside, and it was a cloud of smoke and the cracking sound of the ball and the roar of the people. It was great.
We used to come all the time. Then it kind of lost its popularity.
But there are signs that Highlight is on the verge of enjoying a resurgence. Can the sport make a comeback? See what's going to take for Highlight to hit a new high. That's tonight at 11.
Happening today, the time for festivities is almost over, but not without one last big bash. Today is Fat Tuesday, the last day before the start of Lent. One of the biggest parties before the start of Lent will be, of course, in the Big Easy.
And Camila Bernal is in New Orleans and gives us a preview of what revelers can expect as the clock inches closer towards midnight.
Happy Mardi Gras. People here on Bourbon Street are still celebrating. Back to you.
Looks like fun. I love our headpiece.
Let the good times roll, right?
We're going to wear masks and our beads. There you go. Get in the spirit. New details on a life-saving rescue in Boca Raton. This morning, we're hearing from the people who pulled an unconscious driver from her sinking car. After the SUV plunged into a canal and began taking on water, volunteers wasted no time jumping in and doing their best to rescue the woman. They managed to get her out after one man climbed into the vehicle and undid her seatbelt.
It was a team effort, and we got her to the side and waited for paramedics to come. Once we knew she was breathing, it took a little bit more time.
The woman was rushed to the hospital. No word on her condition.
Now we go to a CBS 4 security alert. Criminals are hacking into local government and businesses, but they aren't stealing money or information. Instead, they're holding data hostage in exchange for a payoff.
It's called ransomware, and the number of attacks are on the rise. CBS 4's Michael George reports.
New Orleans is still trying to recover from a ransomware hack. CBS News, New York.
Time now 6:51. We have another check of this morning's headlines up next.
CBS 4 this Tuesday morning. We'll be right back. Now here's a quick wrap-up of your Tuesday morning headlines. A man is in jail this morning after he's caught on camera attacking a deacon during a church service.
A surveillance camera at St. Coleman Catholic Church in Pompano Beach caught the man rushing and grabbing the deacon before parishioners jumped to separate them. This morning, Thomas Eisel remains in the Broward County Jail facing several charges, including battery.
Fort Lauderdale city leaders are hoping for a quick fix following another sewer main break in the city. Chopper 4 is live over George English Park near the Galleria Mall. The city is spending millions to replace the broken pipes in the city. Officials are hoping crews can have a temporary fix on the latest break completed today or tomorrow.
A Hialeah mother is in jail this morning accused of trying to kill one of her own children. Police say 31-year-old Elenis Carmonte tried to strangle her 6-month-old baby over the weekend following an argument with her boyfriend. She's also accused of attacking her 9-year-old daughter who tried to stop her. The infant's father tells CBS 4 he believes she may be suffering from mental illness. She is now facing several charges, including attempted murder.
And breaking right now, Egypt State TV says the country's former president, Hosni Mubarak, has died at the age of 91. Mubarak was in power for almost 3 decades. He was forced to resign on February 11, 2011, after following 18 days of protests around the country. The Arab Spring uprisings and convulsed autocratic regimes across the Middle East.
And the top 7 Democratic presidential candidates debate tonight ahead of South Carolina primary this weekend. The debate will feature all candidates from last week, along with billionaire Tom Steyer. Former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg is not on the ballot in South Carolina. CBS News is co-hosting tonight's debate. You can watch it live beginning at 8 here on CBS 4.
They're getting ready for the debate. We're getting ready for a cold front.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
And I don't
Nothing
know about
heating
you.
up here.
No. No, heating up just today and tomorrow, and then temperatures will be plummeting. I mean, like a rock.
Wow.
We're going to need to break out the sweaters, jackets. So, yeah, keep that in mind. But in the meantime, you can head to the beach today. Yeah, low 70s in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Key West 77.